Yeah.
So I can kind of go around and I can find the real that way because real attracts real, right?
You better say it.
I made some really extreme, crazy decisions, my husband and I together, that we would have never made. But the joy I get from being able to live my purpose and then have people like you share my voice is like, that is such a gift.
Hi, thank you for joining yet another episode of Get Set with Lissette. This is where we have inspiring conversations that empower you to get set. I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to say what I always say, but what can I say? This is going to be fire, okay? This episode is going to be about impact, collaboration, and the courage to disrupt broken systems. We're digging into what it means to create real, sustainable change in our communities, especially when it comes to one of the most urgent needs of our time, affordable housing. I have an opportunity today to speak with Dr. Amber Borelli. Let me give you a quick tidbit on this powerhouse of a woman. Dr. Amber Borelli is the powerhouse founder of Empowerment in Action, EIA, an organization dedicated to empowering local leaders to access, implement, and evaluate programs that secure funding and resources for community priorities. Her mission is bold. She wants to create a safe, supported space for leaders, scholars, and visionaries, equip them to champion community-led projects, and ensure that they have the tools and guidance needed for genuine impact. See, this is what it is. She recognized that the dollars meant for communities rarely actually stay in the community. And she founded EIA to change that, making sure talented, passionate leaders have the access, mentorship, and pathways to create real transformation. Hi, Amber.
Lissette, that was amazing. Thank you so much.
Girl, that's literally what you're doing.
Oh, it's wild, isn't it?
Honey, it has been a journey. And for those that don't know, and I've known her, we've known each other literally over 20 years at this point.
Over 20 years, absolutely.
And I've shared every now and again, but like I started my career in social services, and then as life would have it, I kind of pivoted as it will. But to see the pivots that you've done and to see the impact more than anything, that's what today's conversation is about. The impact that you have had on communities and in our community specifically. And honestly speaking, most people don't even know the impact that you have because you are literally the man behind the scenes kind of thing. And you've stayed in that. So absolutely. I just appreciate that you're finally coming into the front and saying like, hi, I'm here and standing in that power. Because girl, for those that don't know, I'm trying to tell y'all, wait for the conversation that we're having, but she is honestly a gem in our community. And you didn't even know that she's probably been spearheading a lot of the projects that we know about.
Yeah, it's a really wild place to exist.
Yes.
It is such a wild place to exist in the background, to be able to see a lot of the moving parts. And that's where you find the resilience of places that you would never even believe had any type of resilience.
Okay.
But it's also where you find the brokenness and the things that drain the system of the resources that they need to take care of each other. Amen. The residents, the people who are living here. So,
girl, and that's what today's all about. Now, not that you need it, because again, you're not new to this, you're true to this, but I always, for my guests, I love to have like a quick rap fired, right? And I've been doing, it's more of like a this or that, okay? Right. And I've been trying my best to like, as a recent, really do it based off of the topic of conversation.
Got it.
So don't overthink it or anything. Okay. It's just what comes to mind, okay? It's a this or that. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Early morning site visit or late night strategy session?
Early morning site visit.
Okay. Power suit or sneakers on the ground?
Sneakers on the ground.
You better go.
Give me my not my clogs. What are those things? The sandals with the thick straps?
Oh, your Crocs?
The leather ones?
No. Oh, no. I know which ones you're talking, girl. Okay. I got you.
Like give me those and a pair of jeans if I have to go out. Otherwise, it's some sweatpants. Yep.
I love it. Okay. Data reports or field work?
data reports.
Okay.
Only because field work is where my heart gets filled.
Okay.
But data reports are what tells us what's working.
There it is.
So your last guest, Miss Lori, said about, her doing things differently and really looking at the data points. Like, I love doing the actual work, but looking at those data points really help inform.
And that's where it's at.
And that's where it's at for me. That's where the truth is.
You better go. And I think I know this last one, but we're going to go ahead. Coffee break or power walk?
Coffee break.
There it is.
Give me my coffee break.
I thought so. But
give me it.
She's like, I need it.
Absolutely. Every day.
Okay. So that's just kind of like a quick jitter. So how we feeling? We feeling good?
Oh, I feel good.
That's why I said, I'm like, you don't need it.
I always feel good.
That's why I was like, you don't need it. But, let's just go ahead and get those jitters out and let's have it. I say this all the time, and it's because I believe in it. Mm-hmm. So the idea is that I believe that change happens within time, right? I think that the greatest of things and things that people achieve, we normally see the outputs, the outcomes, but we don't see the work on the front end.
Absolutely.
We don't know the journey that it took.
Right.
And I think that because of that, ideas can get misconstrued and people don't really understand what it means to do different things, right?
Yes, absolutely.
So because of that, I always like to go back, and I want to have the conversation about going back, and then from there we're going to talk about the progression, the reason and the desire behind empowerment and action, and then the work that you're actually doing, because the work in and of itself is just phenomenal. So
it is so fun.
It's fun, huh?
It's so fun.
Girl, I love this for you. Like, when people actually really, really get into this nitty gritty, they're going to be like, oh, crap. That's what's going to be.
That's my favorite part of entering a room is nobody knows who I am.
Yeah.
So I can kind of go around and I can find the real that way because real attracts real, right?
You better say it.
So I go in rooms and people will come up to me who know me or know of me.
Right.
And it's like, da, 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 da.
Right.
But then I can spot the person in the room who's maybe chilling out there. And,
okay.
And, you get to the real. So I love when people don't know me in a room so that I can really just pay attention to everybody else.
Absolutely. Because if they knew, they might act different.
Because if they know, it's always different.
Absolutely.
It's always different.
Well, in that same idea, then take us back. Where did your passion for community development begin?
Oh, my parents are very community-driven people.
Okay.
And they just raised us to always take care of each other and everybody else. You shouldn't watch somebody suffer. You shouldn't, not step in.
Right, help thy neighbor.
But they didn't bash that into our heads. It wasn't love thy neighbor. It wasn't a religious thing. It was just, this is how we live because we're human beings. I was shook.
Okay.
When I got out here in the real world. And then when I went into affordable housing, people aren't really what they say they are.
They're not what they say.
Or they're not even that so much, because people aren't always what they say. People don't always at the end of the day love each other.
Ooh.
And they don't always at the end of the day want to keep someone from hurting.
Mm-hmm.
And most people aren't willing to sacrifice anything of themselves to prevent hurt to another.
Girl.
And that was kind of the principles I was raised on.
Okay.
And then I stepped out in the world and it was all crazy. So I've worked a couple of different places, but every place I've worked, it's never been enough for me internally to just work there.
Okay.
If I'm going to spend my time here 8 hours a day, I'm going to make a difference.
Right.
I'm going to have an impact.
Okay.
So in every job I had, I was always part of some special extra thing.
Okay.
Whether it was boards or, way back when I worked in the juvenile justice system and victim advocacy.
Okay.
We did a lot around balance and restorative justice and victim offender mentoring. And I learned from some really great people, some really cool skills that I never knew would be necessary for my life. Because I was willing to do those extra things.
Okay.
So I'm doing these extra things and getting these extra skills and finding out at the end of the day that not all those people that I looked up to were really looking out for the whole.
The whole. Okay.
It wasn't that this money was being brought in for this grant to make sure that this community has this, because only a third of it was going to this community.
So let me see if I'm understanding correctly. So you're the reality is that the idea of community has been in you since literally birth, because you have grown up in community. Your family was very much about advocating and helping and just being there. And it wasn't something that was forced. It was something that was just implemented. So because of that, you by nature went into different positions that were community focused. So you've worked with victim advocates. You've done some juvenile probation and juvenile issues, things of that nature. And in that work, because that's just what you were born to do, so you were always looking for work that was community focused, you then started to see, if I'm understanding, oh, wait, but even though I'm here to do X work, I'm now noticing the cracks and the holes. And while we say that we're community focused, we're not really community driven. Is that like a good?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Okay.
And I got to a point where I made some really extreme, crazy decisions, my husband and I together, that we would have never made.
Okay.
And it happened when we met a gentleman named Roberto, and he had witnessed a homicide, and when he was in relocation, and there was a bunch of stuff that had gone on for him. But at the end of the day, he had an intellectual disability, which didn't present so much on the outside, but really in executive functioning things like paying bills and making sure your rent's paid and going to a job every day and getting involved with other people and whatever were really tough for him. And his relocation funding was about to end, and the caseworker who was supposed to be helping him with getting his Social Security and all of those things together was like, well, you know, he can just go to a shelter or whatever. And I was like, oh, you lost your mind.
Oh, no.
You lost your whole mind.
Right. Okay.
And I told Roberto, I was like, I looked at my husband nodded, and I said, okay, Roberto, pack your stuff. Rick's going to go get the truck. And he moved in with us that day.
What? Girl, now you know that's like all the way.
That is all the wrong things to do.
Absolutely.
It is absolutely. And I am not advocating that anyone should ever do that. But that's how God shows up in my life.
I know that's right. Okay. So
and
you just felt
there was just no other choice.
Got it. Okay.
And it was so insane that it, like, my friend Tannen Herman told me one time, he's like, it's got to be a God thing because it ain't a smart thing. And I'm like, oh, yeah, you're absolutely right. This was not a smart decision. But I tell you, that man taught me more about family and life and doing the right thing.
Okay.
From the day he was with us until the day he passed away.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
And thank you. Yeah. And he has taught me so much. And while he was with us, he would always run into somebody else that needed help. And so then there was a young girl that ended up staying with us, and we got custody of her and put her through high school. And she has a baby now. She's on the way to get her visa. She was undocumented. And then she, at school, came across another young lady who needed the same type of help, who was undocumented. And she just recently had a baby, and she's doing really well. And she learned English. And is on her way to citizenship as well.
Yeah.
And now that everybody has moved out, except for my 13-year-old, my husband and I are like, we'll never do that again.
Absolutely.
And that was really insane.
No, that was beyond insane. But the fact that you somehow were led to do this, and thankfully it all worked for good, because I'm a firm believer. If anyone knows me, they know that one of the sayings that I always say is like, I believe that all things work for good.
Oh, absolutely.
You may not know the why, you may not know what's going on, but all things work for good. So somehow it was just placed on your heart to do something that is like, I mean, the book could have been thrown at, like, that is by no means, when you're in social work, like the things to do. Like, you don't ever.
No.
But you knew that was what was needed.
Right. And with the other two girls that we took in, they were both undocumented. So we were technically harboring undocumented.
Yes. Immigrants. Yeah, exactly.
And so, like, if you've never woke up in a cold sweat at 3 a.m, concerned that ICE was out of a nightmare that ICE broke into your house, like, I don't think you've really lived. Like,
you're like, what are we doing?
What are we even doing here?
Right.
And it was insane. And I had my own baby at the time. Like, Jacob was just little, and my daughter was only 14 or 15. And like, but it was just, that was, I think, God's way of preparing me to learn the lessons I needed to learn to move humbly into this space.
I love that for you.
It taught me how to nurture other people and then let them go into the world, because I've now launched three young ladies out of my house, my biological daughter and these two other ladies, and they're doing amazing.
And you know that you're a part of that, but it's not even a matter of you being, it's just, I now can see the good.
The good. And it's like when you're in the work every single day and your nose to the grindstone and you're like, you know, I get so excited that I submitted all these grants yesterday, but on the other end of it is like those projects aren't funded yet. So I'm still looking at, and it's almost like parenting. So I almost needed that experience of like extreme parenting because at one point we were a household of 7 during the pandemic.
Okay.
So that was, we had my 24-year-old stepson was roommates with my 3-year-old son. It was like complete pandemonium. But again, it was that beautiful thing about community.
And that's what led you to where you're headed.
And it just, when I recognize that when I surrender my wants and needs, because I really could have been, I made decent money during the pandemic because there was a lot of nonprofit grants coming out.
Absolutely.
And I was helping people get those things set up.
Right.
So I was making a little bit of excess money. So we could have done all the things. And instead I was supporting a household of 7.
Wow.
And you know what? Every month we were able to get groceries and pay the bills and keep the lights on, and it was incredible.
It just shows your heart. So, like you said, you're not new to this. You're true to this. Like this
absolutely.
Is what so that leads me then, because you were at one point working in the field, noticing the cracks, noticing what's going on. B, now you actually like go head first into this idea of extreme parenting and actually harboring individuals and going way further than what any job description would ever ask you to do when it comes to anything social.
But you know what? There was a job description that asked me to do that.
I know that's right. You better go.
There is a job description, and it's called being human. Because God told us to take care of our neighbors, right?
100%.
How can I let these young, undocumented girls be out on the street by themselves when I have an extra bedroom? That's just not acceptable.
There it is.
So it's what I learned is money is not a motivator for me.
You better.
As long as I can feed myself and clothe myself, that's my ultimate responsibility.
Right.
And then that's what I get.
Right.
After that, everything else is just extra.
Oh my God.
And that's what we've got to remember, that is not ours.
Yes.
That is not ours.
You better.
So there is a prescription that tells you,
Amen.
yes, absolutely. The job description is called being a human.
That part. Well, now that leads me to another question, but I don't even know. Like, so what was the moment when you realized I see the need, but I don't have the access?
So it's funny. I don't think I've fully processed that, but I want to unpack that a little bit because I think it's a great thing to talk about.
Right.
So I think I started to do my grant writing more as a full-time, less as a part-time.
Okay.
When I was winding up my time at an organization, helping them to do a housing-focused mission. So they were helping to get people with disabilities, like if you had an intellectual disability and you were like unable to like Roberta was not really able to legally make good decisions on your own behalf.
Right. Okay.
I was working with families who mom and dad are in their 70s or 80s, kid is in their 40s or 50s.
Right.
And we're trying to help this person learn enough skill and build enough skill to live on their own so parents didn't worry that when they die, their kid goes to a group home.
Wow.
And that was unacceptable.
100%.
And so we were doing great work in that work, and it's beautiful. Values into Action was that organization. And Marianne, who started that organization, has a heart of gold. She really views people with intellectual disabilities as people.
As they are.
Period.
Right.
And learned a lot from her and from being there. So once I was able to kind of transition from that, I started to do a lot more of my for-profit business grant writing, things like that. And it was a lot of fun, and it still is a lot of fun. But I needed to pay the bills, and I had a lot of experience pulling in grant dollars.
Yeah.
I could talk in hundreds of thousands.
Yeah.
Which I thought was really amazing. And I still think is really incredible for any grant writers who can do a couple $100,000 into their communities. That's a huge impact.
100%.
But I got a call from a friend of mine, and he's like, hey, I'm getting into this affordable housing thing and I need a grant writer. I'm like, dude, I've been here the whole time. Like, sure. And because of his status, he had access to the funding and the things available. So I was really able to kind of start to see what that affordable housing process needed.
Okay.
And helped him to build a nonprofit, which was amazing and just really gave me a great start.
Okay. So if I'm understanding correctly, it sounds like you're now in the biggest project that you've been in. This is like a new shift in this affordable housing space, right?
Yes.
And in doing that, I just have to ask, like, how did shifting into this leadership role, like for affordable housing projects, then shift your career path? And like, what did that look like for you?
Absolutely. So when you get into affordable housing, I don't think anybody gets there saying like, I'm starting to meet people now.
Right. Okay.
But like, I don't think before I ever had met anyone who was like, I want to do affordable housing. I always knew I wanted to do affordable housing.
Okay.
You almost like people fall into it a lot of times from real estate, a lot of times from construction mindset. A lot of times, you know, some folks like just, you know, they have a building that just has an opportunity. Somebody turns them on to it.
Yes.
But what I was noticing when I was looking around those rooms is none of those folks were from the neighborhood that I had always worked in or lived in. Like these were not folks that I would see at the Giant or the Wise.
Okay.
Or these were not folks that like, you know, were from that neighborhood. And I'm like, well, wait a second. But I know this person who has this project and they could really use a lot of funding.
Okay.
Why isn't that happening? Like, what is going on? And I started to make some really amazing girlfriends in the industry, in different industries, like all across just, I started a collection of amazing, dope women who are just like, I just surround myself with because during that time when you're in that environment where everything's flashy and everything is like in front of you and you have the resources you have, you focus differently, right? You're focusing differently. And it was very different than my authentic who I am, right?
Got it.
Not right, wrong, or bad or good, just different. So I started to feel that conflict in myself. And like, I remember I go with my mom anywhere she tells me because she's my mom and she never steers me wrong.
Girl, same.
And because she's a great time. Like if you ever have the chance to go out somewhere with her, do it because she's just a good time. So
love this.
My mom and I were on our way to a Bible study group that around the time that I was starting to feel this conflict. And it just hit me like, I think it was on the car ride there. I was like, you know, we were studying Old Testament and it was something about idols. And I was like, you know, there's something to be said about the society that we find ourselves in now, where we, you know, we see how easy it was, or we don't see how easy it was for these people in a million years ago to not fall for the gold glittery, glitzy stuff.
Okay.
But now I was finding I'm working 60-hour weeks.
Right.
And it's going into glitz and into glam and into the extra. And it's not really improving this neighborhood that I'm walking in through that has 822 blighted lots in 1 square mile.
Girl.
So there wasn't that impact. So I decided that, and it broke my heart because, you know, I helped to form this organization, but I decided I was going to put in my resignation and I was going to give a really long timeline so that we could wind things down, get all of those, because these projects are complicated.
Okay.
But it just wasn't coming together.
Okay.
Because my internal conflict was just, it was just too big for even trying to continue there.
Okay.
Now things outside of my control, and I ended up leaving in June.
Okay.
Separating from that employer in June. And I said, well, I had planned to start Empowerment in Action in December. So I had filed my paperwork in May, I believe, my 501c3 paperwork. And I said, listen, if this is what's supposed to happen, this is what's supposed to happen.
That's amazing.
I was in an airport on my way to Tampa to test some market down there for some affordable housing work. And I got a call and that employment was ended and I was in the airport and I started crying. And then I just felt so calm.
So you in the midst of what most people would feel chaotic, like it's like the carpet was taken from underneath you. You had already a plan because you were already having turmoil.
Yes.
And I think that that's what happens in most situations. I think we can all share.
We stay in that burning building way too long.
Longer than it needs to. And at times I think it's because, especially when you have a heart for community and you have a heart for the actual work, you want to see the work through far greater than whatever situation is happening.
And when I look at that work, it's not just when I look at that work, it's not just the work of it's not just what the people going to live there.
Right.
There's construction workers.
Right. The impact is greater.
There's architects, there's, professionals, there's all these people.
Yeah.
That there's somebody who's going to be hired to clean that building.
Right.
And they're depending on that income.
Right. So you're like, it's bigger than me.
All that pressure is way bigger than me.
Absolutely.
But that wasn't the response I was seeing.
Got it. I get it.
So being able to say, I see this, now let me see what I can do about it.
And that leads me to actually a really interesting question, because one of the things that I personally find, because I know you, like I just enjoy our conversations, just like off the mic, honestly. But like, you've seen the inside of affordable housing developments. You've seen the grants, the investors, the politics within all of it.
Yes.
I almost feel like I know the answer, but like, what surprised you the most?
What surprised me the most is that what I was learning was not new to anybody else.
Unpack that. That's big.
That was my grand disappointment.
Okay.
I think I really thought, with a few exceptions, because there are some really amazing people out there. And
absolutely.
And there are some people who are doing really amazing work and using the business model of how affordable housing is done right now. And doing big things in their community. So please don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But what I saw was a very inefficient way of taking the resources and applying them to a project.
Okay.
And I thought, well, maybe they just never looked at it a different way, because if you would see what I'm seeing, you'd want to do something different.
Right. That idea of like, if you know better, you'll do better. But that's not
everybody.
That's fair.
That's not everybody. And it's not everybody the other way either. It's just, I was shocked that the majority didn't even understand the impact of what they were doing. Wow. They didn't understand how they were impacting the big business and taking away from the people in the community that are actually trying to do it.
Okay.
And there's room for all of it. Don't get me, this housing crisis, hear me. This housing crisis is so big, it is going to take every single one of us. There is not one of us that has the answer to this.
Fair.
But if we keep doing things the way we're doing them, we're not going to have the funds to be able to do the projects in a way that diversifies the outcome.
And that leads me, like, you, girl, you're hitting every point. And I think that that's why it's so important. And the conversation is important for many reasons. One, I wanted to shine the light on someone who's literally boots on the ground, real work. Like, you've got the heart, you've got the mission. And it's important for people to know that. And I just wanted to highlight that. But then also, it's greater than that too. Like, the impact is greater and the need is so much greater.
Right.
And let's just be real. In today's day and age,
absolutely.
Like, with the way that things are going, with affordability, again, coming from, quick plug, I am a licensed realtor in the central Pennsylvania area. So if you or anyone you know ever needs, are interested in learning the ability to purchase and or sell and invest in real estate, central Pennsylvania, I'm your girl. Plug over.
She truly is.
Thank you. But no, plug over. And I say that jokingly, but no, seriously. But I say that to say, we both are in this day in and day out. And affordability is definitely an area of concern.
Absolutely.
Across any sector.
Absolutely.
Especially when it comes to housing. Like, the industry is just growing astronomically, but the reality is that income is not matching expenses.
Absolutely.
People aren't able to see these things, and the impact is going to just get worse. And you don't see the domino effect of when one thing happens, how it goes. So outside of just the fact that I wanted to highlight you, the story of impact is so much more important.
Oh, absolutely.
And I wanted to say that to say, you've continued to, and I can say this with certainty and with honesty because I've watched you quietly. We've had those conversations. You have never gone astray from the woman that you were when we were both starting in our careers in social services, truly grassroots, boots on the ground. Absolutely. You have maintained that same integrity.
Absolutely. It is so
heart.
important. It is so important to model that.
And my question is then, how do you maintain your integrity and mission in an industry where money often overshadows community? Because everything you have spoken about is about community.
Absolutely.
So how do you do that?
Because my whole is so much more important than just me.
I'm going to throw this at you. You better go.
And you know where it really happened for me? Like, this is the funniest thing. So I went to Puerto Rico.
Okay.
And I went twice last year.
Love Puerto Rico.
And it was my first time ever. And this was my second time going to Puerto Rico. The first time, it was like magic. Like, I'm so glad I went for a short amount of time, just me and my husband, so I could get overwhelmed with that magic that I felt.
Love this.
So then the second time we went for 2.5 weeks. It was my son's 13th birthday. We pulled him out of school for 2.5 weeks. That didn't go over well. But, sometimes life experience is more important. And I'm willing to take the educational ding for the life experience.
That's a whole other conversation.
And that's a whole other conversation.
I love this. Yeah.
So we go to Puerto Rico, and everything that could go wrong went wrong.
Okay.
Now, our Airbnb hosts were amazing. The rental car, like, we get there, whatever. So it culminated with our rental car got a flat. We were about an hour away from where we were staying in Manatí.
Okay.
Which is about an hour and a half away from San Juan, where we rented the car.
Right. You're literally on the other side of the
The car gets a flat tire after we get out of Walmart. And if you've never been in a Walmart in Puerto Rico, there's a whole nother experience.
Fair.
It was amazing. Like, I just can't wait to go back and go to random places that normal people go in Puerto Rico so that I can just be that crazy person. But it's so beautiful because it's all community. Because everybody is like me. Like, everybody is in love with just being a community with each other.
Absolutely.
So the tire goes flat.
Yep.
And the tow truck comes.
Okay.
And there's no spare tire in the car. I have already been up for I don't know, since 4 a.m.
Right.
We traveled.
At this point you had
we had an
all
event
day.
that day outside in the sun all day. So hosted this event all day, cleaned up from the event, headed to Walmart to get something to drink, headed home, and boom, the tire goes flat, whatever. So the tow truck comes. There's no spare tire.
Okay.
He goes, okay, well, I'm going to have to tow it. And so we start to get out of the car. He's like, no, I don't have room in my truck for you. I have all my kids and my wife in there. And we look back, there's 8 people in the tow truck.
Oh, wow.
So he's like, just stay in the car. I'm just going to put the car on the back of the tow truck. So we rode.
What an experience. I've never.
And the whole time I'm like this, I'm so tired.
Right. At this point, you're done.
Tired. Like, I'm just crying that I'm so tired. And when I called my girlfriend, who was the one who hosted the event, and I was like, Vestida, I just got home. We had to go on the back of the tow truck to the airport and then get the new rental car and get to the. She's like, honey, I told you, it's Puerto Rico. It's not perfect, but it's beautiful.
Go ahead.
It clicked.
Okay.
Hold
on. Tell me how this clicked. Go ahead. I need this explanation. So it's not
perfect.
There it is, but it's beautiful.
But it's sure is beautiful.
Better.
And there's my whole it has never been perfect. But my God, it is beautiful.
Girl.
My God, it is beautiful.
I love
it. And you're going to screw it up and it's going to be off the chart.
Right.
But you know what? It's beautiful anyway. And that journey. So I think that's where it clicked for me about your heart is the right place.
Okay.
You just got to find a way to make money.
Right.
Using your heart.
Yes.
Helping other people get money. And you think that would be an easy thing to do.
Right. Right.
But boy, oh boy.
That's a hard. So girl, you are one thing I have to say, and I love this because she doesn't even realize she's literally just teeing me off to the next question, guys. It's phenomenal. First off, I was wondering, I love talking about Puerto Rico because, I am of Puerto Rican descent, and you're right. If you've never been, it's definitely a place that you have to see at least once in your life because it truly is just naturally, the island itself is just a beautiful place. And people really do hold old school values and legitimate community focus. You can go into a restaurant and they're buen provecho, which means enjoy.
Everybody, the homeless people as they walk by. Everyone.
So I say that to say I'm all about it, but I wondered where you were going to take that whole like situation, which is, I mean, love the comic relief, but I love that in that moment, something clicked for you.
Oh.
And then in that you see and you recognize that the work that you're doing is so much greater and it's beautiful. You lead me into one of the questions that I had, and I'm going to read it verbatim because you literally just teed it off. It's what inspired the leap from managing those projects to founding Empowerment in Action. Yes. But this is the moment.
This is
when you know, like, yes, I don't know what it's going to be, but at the end of the day, not only are you finding ways to keep your integrity, but now you're like, I'm going to do the work and I'm going to do it with the heart that I know I want to lead and have the projects that I believe are community.
Absolutely.
Girl.
And
talk about it. Like,
and to have my husband there beside me.
Honey.
Because he is such a rider. That guy believes in me like nobody should. Like when the way he believes in me, I always want to look at him and be like, are you sure? Are you sure, Vic? Are you sure are you sure this is a great idea? He's like, honey, you ain't never let us wrong.
I love that.
And just the belief that he has in me and the support that he gives me and allows for me. But that was like being able to stand there with him and be like, oh, this isn't just my work.
Right.
This is my calling. I am answering something way deeper than me. And that's why it feels so real, because it is.
I love this.
And all I needed was to figure out that I could get myself a little payroll.
Right.
And pay myself just a little bit to keep myself alive while I'm going through this weird transition.
Yes.
And I had a plan to launch come January. And God said, you know what? You've been in this burning building too long. And he opened that window and he done booted me right out.
I love this.
And when I hit the ground, when I was there in Tampa, when I hit the ground at the St. Pete airport, which is the smallest airport I've ever seen in my life.
True.
Yeah. But really cool. But when I landed there, it was like, it's going to be all right.
It's going to be okay.
Because I was going to get hurt if I stayed in that burning building. And I wouldn't have been able to continue the work that fueled my passion.
Absolutely.
And I can't just have a job.
That
I wish I could, but I can't.
That's it.
But then it's balancing that with production.
Right.
And it's balancing that with time with your family and self-care and all of those things that now are starting to be like, before it was like, how do I feed myself? Well, now I can feed myself.
Right.
And so now it's like, okay, how do I do all the other things? So I feel like a perpetual middle schooler.
Okay.
You know, because you're in that like spleen, that
spleen. Okay,
yeah. Like you're right there. Like, so I'm at this like weird 6-month point where usually things don't get funded until like you write a grant and then you don't get funded for 6 months. Empowerment in Action has brought in $1.2 million for community projects so far.
Hold on now. I'm going to need you to look at that camera and tell the people what you just said just now, because you said that real nonchalantly. What did Empowerment Action do?
We brought in $1.2 million for community projects.
In how long?
Since June of this year, in 6 months, less than 6 months.
Say it with your chest. Like that's the kind of things that I love. Like you are doing the work, and that's what that was the moment right there. Because I need you to just recognize it, and I'm gonna go off the cuff completely, but like I need you to just sit in that power. And recognize, honestly speaking, like just heart to heart, like you are making an impact. You are doing exactly what you said you were going to do. And you're doing it with the values, the integrity, and the heart that you have promised that you wanted it to be and how you wanted it to look like.
And it is so hard to sit in success.
You need to.
But I have to.
And
I'm learning that. And you have such a beautiful way. And I think I told you this the other day of like, taking the parts of me that I need to spend time celebrating.
Yes.
And you mold them just the way I need to see it and you show it back to me.
Because you need to see it.
And I think that is honestly these past 6 months have been the most joyous and the hardest of my whole life.
Absolutely.
But there have been these amazing, powerful women who've just been put around me in different ways and shapes and forms. That breathe life into me and allow me to breathe life into them. Because the other thing that people forget when you're a leader like this, and I'm kind of unassuming too, because I'll just kind of sit in the background and just wait. Like I'm not going to push my business on you or, you know, I just kind of wait and see what you got going on or whatever. But you forget that you're always the one that everybody needs to fix a problem for them.
Girl.
You know, you're always that point person, and you're always that, and you forget that you don't know everything.
Right.
And in fact, I'm going to be real transparent. I don't know nothing.
Girl, she being real.
Because, but I don't know all of it.
Right.
It's not that I don't know all of it.
Yeah.
And I know that I can learn from anybody.
Absolutely.
Anybody out there. And that is the beauty of the projects that I'm able to do.
Yeah.
Is I'm learning with folks. So like I'm providing coaching. I'm helping people to understand what affordable housing means, first of all, and how they can implement it in their community and how they can take it one step at a time. And I'm helping them avoid those pitfalls that I've seen people fall into.
Absolutely.
I'm helping to steer people the other way.
Yeah.
If their affordable housing isn't necessarily the business that will meet the needs that they want it to meet.
Absolutely. You're doing so in a beautiful way too, though. And I love that you brought it back and you gave yourself some more credit, because it's not that you don't know anything. It's just you don't know what you don't know. Right. And it's ever changing, ever developing, ever growing. But that is where it goes back to that moment that you had in Puerto Rico. Like, it's not perfect, but at the end of the day, it's beautiful. And
it is so hard for me to say that, like,
you are doing the work.
It's crazy though.
Like,
it's crazy.
And you need to see that, because that's why I was like, I'm glad you brought it back. And it's not that you don't know anything. You do know a little something, because I'm going to tell you right now, not knowing anything ain't going to bring in $1.2 million.
No,
like,
you got to know what you're doing.
You got to know what you're writing and what you're doing. And yet you have a way of maintaining humility, which I think is important.
Absolutely.
To keep you going. And so I feel like it's been a theme in the conversation, but like, what is it that keeps you grounded while working in a system that can feel overwhelming, slow, and honestly, like, inadequate?
Yeah. So,
or inequitable, not even inadequate, more inequitable than that. If you think about the word, it's
absolutely, it is inequitable. It's inadequate.
So what is it?
So it's funny. My mom will tell me all the time, she's so proud of me for using my blessings to help others. And like, using my blessings to help others will always bless me. My dad would look at me and say, well, you got a B. Why didn't you get an A? So I had like the perfect parents for me.
You got the balance. Okay.
I had the perfect parents for me.
Yes.
And I told my dad that when he was passing, that he was the best dad for me.
Yes.
And that, but that drive was always, plus like my dad's family are like farm people. So like I have a work ethic like no other. Like, people get so mad because I'll just be like constantly on work.
I can attest to that.
But my work is my life too.
Yes.
It's not far apart from each other, because my work benefits my kids, it benefits your kids, it benefits all of us.
Absolutely.
And that part is, but I keep that grounding of like, okay, well, I got a B, but I could have got an A. And if I got an A, why wasn't an A plus?
Right.
So there's always room for improvement. So I think having from an early age that message of not that I'm not good, because the message from my dad was not that I'm not good enough.
Right.
The message was, I know your potential.
And how can you improve?
I know your potential.
That part.
What are you doing? I know your potential. And just because you did this, unless you're not breathing, what are you doing next?
And that's actually really good, because that leads me, and this is like completely off cuff because it doesn't have anything to do with housing or the impact conversation that we're having. But how beautiful is it to have someone that instills in you, because it's not a bad thing. It's a great thing to say, for as long as you have breath, make the best and be the best that you can be. Because that's what I'm getting from that. It's not a matter of like, let me just, put you down or let me, it's not that. It's like, no, celebrate the accomplishment. But for as long as you are living, what else are you doing? Keep it moving. Keep growing.
You can't just keep celebrating this thing that you did one time.
Right. You have to continue to live.
You have to continue to do the work.
Things.
You have to keep doing the work.
And keep doing the work.
I tell you, those grants didn't write themselves this week, and it putting in the work.
Yes.
But it makes it even more worth it.
Absolutely.
It makes it so much more worth it.
And it shows that you can both, because I need you to find that balance. And I'm happy you're stepping into it now.
We're getting there.
Because you can both celebrate
success,
but what's keeping you grounded is that there's still work to be done, if I'm hearing you correctly.
Oh, absolutely.
And the ability to continue to want to do more and greater. And you got that literally from your father at an early age.
And it's not it's not do more to get more money.
Correct.
It's, oh, we did this. Now we can do this next.
Absolutely.
And I bet after that we can do this.
Yeah.
And then after that we could do this.
Absolutely.
I mean, I have some of my clients, like we have a 3 and 4 year plan.
Yes.
For how we're going to help them develop out their nonprofit mission.
Absolutely.
And like, there's a lot of excitement being at somebody's ribbon cutting and being at their, but you know what I love being at? When the light bulb comes on.
I love that. Okay.
Or when somebody realizes that they actually can do this work.
Okay.
Or somebody runs into me and they're like, hey, you taught me how to write grants years ago and I still do it.
I love that.
And
so
like,
for you, it's like, yes, I love the ribbon cutting. I love
it's so much fun to celebrate.
Grant,
absolutely.
But you're still celebrating the community.
The community.
You're celebrating.
It's those little celebrations.
Oh, I love
those
that.
Teeny tiny ones. It's that, you know, hey, I've got some extra stuff in my crock pot. Come over, let's split a glass of wine, or let's split a bottle of wine. Let's talk, you know.
I love this.
It's those little celebrations. It's those little interpersonal things. And, you know, I think sometimes we focus so much on the press release and the things like that instead of the nitty gritty of like, let's get it done. And then what is the next thing?
So if I'm hearing you correctly, and that's why I always like to look, y'all know me, I am going to give it back to you in a package so that you catch every single gem, because again, Amber is giving you guys gems because the work is greater than herself. And I need you guys to like truly, genuinely hear it. But what I'm hearing you say now is that not only was it your father and everything else that kept you grounded with your work ethic and the things you've got going on, but where you actually get excitement in the work, it's not even the accomplishment of or the ribbon cut. It's the individual themselves seeing that moment of clarity. It's the helping the ones that are grassroots, the organizations that are unaware of what's out there and what they can achieve, and getting them to it. So you continue to still stay in the weeds of it all.
Oh yeah.
While chasing, and not just chasing, obtaining. Let's put some respect behind your name. Obtaining the big dollars.
Right. Yeah. The important part is putting the project together.
But putting the project together.
And
that's
then it pulls
exactly
in the big dollars.
And that helps it all kind of like come together in a great bow.
Absolutely.
And you're in every single aspect of it. You're there for the smaller ones, the bigger ones, everything in between.
And once it's up and running and y'all making a profit off of it, bye, have fun.
I know that's right.
Later. Enjoy
Let
it.
me go help the next one.
Right. Make sure you teach somebody else. Pass
each
it
one
on.
Teach one.
Because here's the other part. We're my generation. I'm a Gen X.
Yeah.
So that also, my other Gen Xers out there,
I can't.
they're gonna love it. They, you know, we were raised a little bit different.
Okay.
So we were very used to taking care of ourselves.
Fair.
And then our parents didn't, and I say this with all the love and respect because my parents were amazing.
Absolutely.
But
Absolutely.
the way of being a parent that then was teach by example, but your kid should be watching. Like the responsibility was on us to pay attention. And I think that maybe we got, the other part is like we got real comfortable with the leaders we had because they're the real adults in the room. We never really felt like adults because we've been adulting our whole lives.
Right. This is just normal.
So then we look around and we're like, wait, we're the adultiest adults in the room. And the old folk are still at the wheel. And we see this in politics where we have lifetime politicians.
Absolutely.
That's not supposed to be a lifetime thing.
So
and you have a responsibility when you're in a position of power to bring up the person who's going to take over for you. Because I'm going to tell you one thing. If I am 70 years old and I am sitting here talking to you and not spending most of my time in the winter on a beach,
right,
I got a problem.
That's it. Because you're like, I didn't do
I missed my assignment.
There it is. You did the work, but you missed the assignment because you did not put yourself in a position to help the next one.
Absolutely.
That's powerful.
I fed myself and somebody for a day.
Right.
But the girls that left my house, my daughters who are now living on their own, they're feeding themselves and their families.
Isn't that a Chinese proverb? And isn't it also biblical? Like the idea of like, give a man a fish they eat for a day teach a man to fish, they eat for a lifetime.
Absolutely.
So what do you say then to community leaders who feel overlooked, unheard, or like under-resourced, or like, or the ones that want to do the work? Like, what do you say to them?
Keep doing the work. Every day, show up the best you can. Bring everything you have, because you know what? It's enough.
I know that's right.
It is enough. I think we're getting into this idea that we have to constantly increase capacity,
right?
Instead of continuing to do the good work we're doing. Let the good work stand for you. The numbers never lie.
I know that's right.
And when you walk into those rooms and you know that people don't know your work or know what you do or don't give you the attention that you should be getting,
right?
Know that it's not for them to see. That's not the point. And if that, and I think a lot of times, and I fall into this myself, as a leader and as somebody in the community, is like, we get this almost, and it's a Harrisburg thing especially, because I don't feel it in even other counties that I've worked in.
Okay.
But there's this thing about, like, if you get that, why didn't I?
Oh, like a comparison.
Like always a comparison. It is not about me or you. It's about those people that need food. So if we're feeding those people, then we're doing our job.
I know that's right.
But while we're feeding those people as leaders, our job is to also teach them to feed themselves and each other, right? So we're passing this on.
Absolutely.
It is not our job to stay in our jobs for the next 45 years.
Right.
And then be irreplaceable. I never want to be irreplaceable.
Girl, I'm ready to throw something at you in the best of ways and in love, because you are saying something that's so imperative and important, because it is very easy to reflect on self and think I'm important and I'm this and I'm that, but you're missing the mark. And if you're looking at it or you're comparing yourself to your next partner, or if you're doing this and third, you miss opportunity for collaboration. You miss opportunity for greater impact.
Absolutely.
You're missing the mark 100% on the actual work that needs to get done. And you're not allowing for space and the place for the next generation and for new leaders to feel and be empowered to lead, to grow into the assignments that they're supposed to do. And oh my God, like all of what you just said, like that is a word in of itself, because that is what allows for communities to continue to grow, thrive, and be.
Oh, absolutely. It is the basis of a society.
Girl.
I mean, we really have just missed kind of the basics a little bit. And like there's this mindset that like it belongs to me, my resources, my this, my that. And yes, ownership is great, because I take great ownership over my work.
Absolutely.
But don't get it twisted. These are not my projects. These do not belong to me, nor do I want to be in a position where they do.
I know that's right.
This is not mine to do.
Right.
I know my job.
Exactly.
And I think that's why, when I come into a project and folks meet me, initially there's always a lot of hesitation, because why are you bringing on a consultant? And then a consultant from a nonprofit, and it's expensive, and she charges a lot, and she makes us meet with her once a week, and blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
But that's the work it takes.
Absolutely.
And it will get you where you need to go, because we're going to make a plan, and we're going to stick to it, and we're going to do the work.
I love it. Well, I'm going to give you an opportunity right now to explain exactly. So for those that don't know, because if you haven't realized by now how amazing this woman is, like just for the heart that she has, the work that she does, and the knowledge that she carries. Like if you haven't picked up on that yet, I'm going to give an opportunity for you to catch up. But also, let's talk about like the work that EIA is doing. So how does EIA help ensure that community investments stay in the community?
Absolutely. So what I do is I start with, I will only work on projects that make sense fiscally.
Okay.
Are in communities that need them. And match the desires of the neighborhood.
Okay.
I'm not interested in, a big project that you can rinse and repeat and use again and again and again, because that's not necessarily designed for your neighborhood or your community.
Okay.
So I get involved generally. It usually happens because somebody got involved in something, didn't understand it, started doing affordable housing, and then got stuck.
Okay.
Like maybe they have a grant award, but they're unable to use it because the way they wrote it, you can't do it that way.
Right.
Or, you know, some folks will come to me and be like, I've been writing grants to get this thing off the ground. I have this piece of land or whatever. And then I just come alongside the person and say, okay, where do you want to be?
Right.
All right, you want to be here? What does our timeline look like?
Okay.
What is it going to take to do that? And the thing I think that has been real successful behind it is I'm not afraid to tell people the truth.
That's important.
So if your project isn't going to work,
right,
or you're doing too much,
right,
and you don't have the time to focus on the project, or if your heart is just not in it, I can say no. So what I do is I just really come alongside that leader. We get called in. I always do, you know, a consultation. I want to find out about the project because it's a mutual thing. Like you're not just saying like, yes, I want to work with empowerment and action.
Right.
Right now it's just me, but I'm hoping to bring in other professionals in the industry that can do the same thing I do.
Absolutely.
We get ourselves a paycheck out of a nonprofit. We're working for a nonprofit organization, but we don't have to worry about, you know, when you do it privately, you got to do your own taxes and all that.
All
it's
that,
crazy.
right.
Plus, the money that comes in affordable housing oftentimes comes in as a bulk sum, just like a real estate agent. And if you're doing it for profit, you can't make that stretch in an operational way. Fair. The way you can in nonprofits. So my goal is to bring other consultants in that can do similar work to what I'm doing. And really what I do is I take a look at what you've got. I crunch numbers, and then I set up a time. We sit down, we meet about it, and I give you all the numbers of what your project's going to look like. If it's a affordable housing project, sometimes it's not. Sometimes you're just looking to build a nonprofit or whatever. Right. But if it's affordable housing, I run all the numbers. I show you how to run your own numbers. I want to work with you on maybe one or two projects, and then I get bored. I want to go find something new to do.
I love this. So if I'm understanding correctly, you're setting it up in a way that you still maintain. Now, mind you, now that this is your own organization, you're leaning into having to come into the light and being at the forefront of it. But you're still maintaining a more of consultative role where you're there as the consultant of whatever the big picture is project or whatever the other organization is that's doing. You are, again, if I'm understanding correctly, you're there to not only complete the work as far as getting the grants and getting everything, you're ensuring that there's clarity in the actual direction that the project wants, that fiscally it makes sense and that you think that this is something that is attainable. Because you're not setting yourself up or the organization up for failure.
Right.
And then you're there for X amount of time, whatever it is. But in that time, part of what you're doing in that time is not just completing whatever the grant process is or whatever, but you're teaching the organization, whoever that is, how to do the work themselves so that after whatever that timeline look like, you're able to step back, they can continue forward with what they have going on, and you're just continuing to find the next project.
Absolutely.
And then futuristically, we're forecasting ahead of time. Your goal is to then have other consultants that do the exact same thing, so then you're able to impact and have more projects simultaneously occurring at the same time.
I'm able to, and even more than that, I'm not so much worried about how many projects. So here's the other flip.
I love this.
Here's my other perspective flip. So I look at things, I think that is my greatest benefit, is that I look at things from every angle.
Okay.
So like I see this little potato.
Yeah.
And like I see his sign.
That was a gift from one of my guests too.
I
It's
love
such a cute
this
little
thing.
Yep.
I have an emotional support worm in my purse that's made similar.
That's my positive potato.
I love him. So, but I'm looking at him from every single angle. Like what's holding him up? Well, what if I put him on his head? Well, what if I put him this way? Like that's just how my ADHD brain works.
I love it.
So if I'm able to do this and make a living, then whatever the amount of projects I need to make a living is really like, I'm not worried about project number.
Okay.
I'm worried about project impact. Am I going to make this happen? Is this going to make a change in that neighborhood? And am I going to be able to eat with the number of things that I'm working on?
I love this.
What I want to help other people do is, I know there are other women, especially women, because let's be honest, like we get into these positions where, especially when you're really, really smart and you're really good at something, you get painted into a corner in an organization because you're so good at that and you make them a lot of money. But your ability to move up and down is impossible.
Right.
Because their bottom line depends on your performance.
Right.
What I want to do at EIA is I don't want to have a ton of overhead.
Okay.
So anything overhead is like, I really don't have any. I work out of my house.
Right.
I don't need an office space. I don't need to throw big parties. I don't need to do all of this other stuff. I just want to do the work.
Okay.
I know there's other women out there who are really talented who could benefit their own personal self.
Yeah.
Not necessarily by doing it independently, whatever they do professionally, but by tapping into a nonprofit where they can bring the money in for that work.
Yeah.
And do very similar to what I'm doing. And then someday, you know what? I want to step away from it. Because I want somebody else to be in my shoes. And that's like not a 20-year plan. That's like a 5 to 10-year plan.
I know that's right. You're like, I'm doing this like.
I don't want to be a person in the organization. I want to be a person in the organization. Okay. If that makes sense. Like I want to be a cog in the wheel. Yeah. But the wheel is so much bigger than me. And somebody told me, they're like, well, you know, when you do the affordable housing work and you do it where you there's a developer fee involved. And that's what a lot of people see that get them really excited about doing affordable housing. And it happens. You get the developer fee. It happens eventually. It takes a lot of time and it takes a lot of energy.
Right.
I don't want to have that be the focus.
Okay.
You know what I mean? I want to be able to use that in a way that expands my ability to get other projects off the ground.
Okay.
So in doing a nonprofit, you can use the developer fee to fund future operations.
Okay.
So that, say, I have somebody that comes to me with a really great project. They have all the pieces, but they can't afford the consulting fee.
Okay.
Or they can't pay it up front. They can pay a little bit, but not the whole thing.
Right.
And because of how affordable housing grants are worked up, you can write in there for consulting and for all the professional services you need.
Right, right.
So we just write that, and people don't know that. So that's really what I'm coming along and teaching them, is the stuff that nobody will tell you.
Right, and the ways to make things work
and the ways
find
to make
opportunities
it work for you, because it's different for everybody and everybody's goals different.
I love this. So, and it leads me to another question, because I love the fact that in every arena, you're setting up this organization the way you've set up basically your life's work, which is community first.
Absolutely.
And you're setting it up where you're like, yes, I'm the founder of the organization. Yes, I'm the one that set it up. But I want this to be something where everything is forecasted futuristically, that you honestly are not going to be the head of X organization. You're going to be one of multiple individuals working collaboratively with one another and finding opportunities to work together. And in that, you're also putting yourself in a position where, of course, yes, we all have to sustain ourselves. We all have to maintain what we need. Everything is necessary. But we want to ensure that, so of course, I say that to say, so of course you have to be able to like have a livable wage and maintain.
Oh, I pay myself well.
Right. And that, as you should.
As I should.
But you're also putting yourself in a position where you're giving opportunity to others.
Yes.
And giving them ways to, for those that maybe don't go for certain funding or sources, or don't go for grants because they don't think that they have an ability to pay for or an ability to do something.
Right.
You're finding creative ways so that everyone has an opportunity to access.
Yes.
And then you find ways to still get paid as necessary. Right. But then get them what they need so that they can take their organization to whatever next foot they want to. And I'm
I'm a bridge to access. I'm a bridge to access. So
there it is.
I know that there's a barrier.
Yeah.
I know that my magic power is loopholes. I'm every HR person's worst nightmare. Like, there's rules at companies because of me.
I know that's right.
Because I'm literally like the why not?
Okay.
Why not? But you know, it's not just for nothing. It's for a purpose. It's purposeful. And I think, you know, what I'm building here is not for me. I am building this on the shoulders of my grandma, my great grandma, all the women and family that came before me. And I'm building it for the ones that come after me. So it's not really mine.
Right.
But I take ownership of it because it's that generational wealth thing. I'm building generational wealth for whoever is my community.
And that's exactly it, because you're doing it for, and that leads me to even another question that I kind of had, but it's going based off of our conversation, it just organically is there, because you're building generational wealth in multiple ways. Like you're helping individuals think differently.
Yes.
So that they know, because if you know better, you do better.
That's right.
So you help them think differently so that they understand it. You're also taking the time necessary to implement whatever's necessary for the project so that they can.
Yep.
And you're helping multiple projects, multiple organizations, multiple things come back into the community, stay in the community. And your organization is growing, but so are many others, and everyone else is also growing. So what does collaboration then look like to you? And how, in your eyes, do you think collaboration should show up when we have discussed how systemically there's broken systems and how things have been? Like, what does that look like to you? And how do you think it should actually continue to grow?
Yeah, collaboration is the heart of, like,
because
I said earlier, like, we can't, this affordable housing thing is huge.
Correct.
We can't do this all by ourselves.
Right.
Once you let go of the thought that you are going to do something different or magical, that's going to be the magic key to solve everything and you're going to make millions.
Right.
Once you get rid of that.
Right.
Then you have to collaborate. You can't do the architectural drawings on your building. I'm sorry.
Right.
You can't do the construction.
Right.
You don't want me to do the construction. Right. You know, you might want me to set up your grants and do your spreadsheets, but you do not want me to be sitting there with trying to mess with your plumbing.
Right.
So you build those relationships, but also it's so funny because I find myself in this space where it's like I'm walking beside people, so I'm helping them to build this like sense of like how to do business in this market. Yeah. While also sticking to the rules.
Okay.
Because I think we get away from where we get into that, like, I need more capacity. We always want to give business to our friends.
Yeah.
And listen, I love my friends.
Yeah.
I love my friends. You know what you're going to do? You're going to fill out an RFP and you're going to send it to the client. And if they choose you, they choose you.
For those that don't know, what's an RFP?
Request for proposal.
There you go. Just in case.
So, if I'm doing an RFP, I'm doing an RFP and it's going to be, you're going to have to respond to that.
Right.
Because people are so used to just getting the work because I can, because you don't know that there's rules about bidding and there's these things and that thing. I can just go alongside you and know.
Yeah.
We need to start bringing it back to, and when I start on a project, I try to make sure that people are very focused on who in their community already has the talent and the ability to do this.
There it is.
So that we're spending our grant money in local communities.
Absolutely.
And you cannot tell me that there aren't people that do every single job that you need done that you're bidding out in your local community.
I love that. So for you, collaboration is literally it's not just because you have a relationship with someone. It's let's bid the work, let's follow the actual rules, let's do things the way that they're supposed to. And how can we feed each other? And then B, when you're doing that and you're outsourcing, you want to first look at who in the community already is someone that does what it is that you need over here. You've got this part, but you need that part. Who's in the community that's doing the work, and how can we build them on and bring everyone on? And that's collaboration. That's bringing all of the moving parts and every part that you need for one project to ensure that everyone's eating and everyone's working together.
And we're going for grant money, and we're going to pay people what they're worth.
That part too.
Wait, I have so many times in affordable housing, people are like, well, I can get those repairs done way cheaper.
Right.
Congratulations. Get the guy that does them way cheaper, and we're going to pay him what he's worth.
And there's that.
And that's how we invest in our communities, because then that guy that gets paid what he's worth can go to the corner store and get a cup of coffee.
Right.
And then that lady that owns the corner store can expand her corner store. And then,
now she can actually get produce in it that comes from the local farm. And
so my goal is to never be able to estimate the impact that I've had on this world. I don't ever want to be able to estimate that. I just want to be able to keep putting those things out there and seeing that ripple effect.
Okay. Well, now we're coming towards the end of our conversation. And if y'all haven't heard the amazingness in all of it, it's been beyond. But being that you now have created these new pathways and you are doing the work and you're standing in your greatness, how do you define success today?
I think I define it the same way I always had.
You better.
When I lay my head on that pillow at night, have I done everything that I could do today?
Yes.
That's it. Just have I done everything I can do today?
I love this.
Did I do the right thing? And I tell you what, when I make those shady decisions we all make and we're like, oh, maybe that wasn't the right thing, I have trouble going to sleep at night.
Right. Right.
When I know when I'm being successful, when I crash out in that bed at night, like there is no good night. It's just Amber hits the pillow and I'm out.
You're gone. And you know you did every
I let it all on the floor.
I
let it all on the field, like let it all there.
Okay.
And those are the days that like, and when I'm able to see somebody, especially when I'm able to see somebody speak in a public space that wouldn't have taken up that space before. When I see like people that I'm working with take up space, I'm just like, girl, get that. Get that space. Take it. It's yours.
Absolutely.
And I think that is inspiring me to remember to take my space too.
And that's why I'm so happy you agreed to do this. Because
I've been trying.
Y'all don't know. I have been trying to get this girl to have a conversation and sit down with me for a while. And she's like, but why? But what? And mind you, I was trying to get her to come sit down with me before she even had completely finalized Empowerment in Action, because forget the organization that she had. She, as a person, was already doing the work for others. And I knew that people needed to know the man behind
I'm the Oz. I'm the great Oz.
Yeah, you're like the Oz. You're the man behind the wall.
The man behind the curtain.
Behind that curtain kind of thing. And I felt like it was time for you to come out like behind from there so that people can see it. Then you do start the organization. In 6 months, you again, 1.2 million. I'm not going to forget that number. You now have that.
Yeah.
And it was important to have it because you pour into so many others. You do so much for others. You believe. That's why I've asked the questions like, what does collaboration look like? What does it look like to empower one another? What's the crisis that we have? I've asked these questions because I knew your answers would go deeper and further than just your baseline of what it is, which I think is important because, like you said, and how we started this conversation, the crisis far exceeds what one individual can do to try and even like start to make an impact. So it's important for us to have these necessary conversations and for us to start to think about things from a different lens and look at collaboration differently, define success differently, which is why I asked that, because it's not about a dollar amount or you get to X stature. It's the work itself. It's being able to look at yourself in the mirror. It's being able to know that when you lay your head down, you did every and anything that you could.
Absolutely.
And I knew that that's what you were going to say. And so now I have to ask you, this is another one I always ask, if you could speak to your younger self or the leader who saw the need but didn't yet have the resources, what would you say to her?
You know what is true. You know your heart and keep working that muscle.
I know that's right.
Because it's all going to come to you. What you worry about, what I would worry away in my younger years, it's not lost on me that I sit here today, that I'm at some of these tables with people that I've watched for years and thought, wow, this is somebody that means something to me. This is somebody that's doing something, you know, and I want to recognize you because I don't trust everyone with my voice because your voice can be used for beautiful, life-changing things.
Right.
And it can be used to hurt people. And it can be used to hurt people that are already suffering.
That's fair.
And as much as I've been through in the last 6 months, the one thing that I am very proud of is how I've stood. And
Amen.
I know that you will protect my voice 100%. And help to expand it in ways that are impactful and meaningful and not just for the dollar sign, but for the forwarding of the work.
Absolutely.
Because if I never make another dollar again, like I can go work somewhere else. I can go find a job somewhere, crunching numbers or something, and that'll be fine. But the joy I get from being able to live my purpose and then have people like you share my voice is like, that is such a gift. It is such a gift.
Thank you. But no, you need to sit in it and you need to like enjoy it honestly.
I am.
Because you are one of the gems that people don't even know are the reasons why a lot is going on. So then I have 2 last questions. Okay. Well, technically 3, but What's one powerful lesson your journey has taught you about community resilience and purpose?
The biggest lesson I think I've learned is when it is your purpose, you don't even have to try. Like, I sit out here and do stuff and people are like, oh my gosh, thank you so much for that. And I'm like, it's nothing.
Right.
So like, it doesn't have to be this huge, gigantic thing. The other lesson I learned is don't believe what other people say about you. You know, because I was in positions where somebody would tell me how loyal I am,
girl,
but then go around and tell other people the other thing, you know? So it's what's said in rooms about you, without you, doesn't mean anything. That's, you know, keyboard warriors, they're nothing. It's not a big deal. But in listening to Lori's conversation with you just recently, you know, she talked about how not everybody is there for you. And the people will use you. And when somebody shows you who they are, then you believe them and respond accordingly. And it's not about holding a grudge. It's not about throwing shade. It's not about any of that. It's about remembering who you are. So if you always act in accordance with who you are,
that part,
the other ones just fade away.
I know that's right. And then what's next, Dr. Amber? I have to throw Dr. Amber out there.
Listen.
In empowerment and action. What's next? And then with that, where can people like find you?
Absolutely.
Those that we'll put those two together. And then I'm sitting here trying to think of my key takeaways. Pray for me, guys, while you say that, because there's been so many.
Oh, so what's next? What is next is just continuing to the day in and day out. I think the hardest part of having a really big goal like these housing projects and doing this work is it takes a lot of day in and day out grit work. Like I was at my computer. I felt like a potato. Like this potato and I, we had a lot in common.
I love it.
You know, because I'm just writing and putting things together, but it's like, it's that grit work that gets the outcome. So what's next is just continuing to do the grit work. We're just coming out of the fair grant season. So, you know, there's, I think this 8-9 projects that will hopefully be funded next June that will need work. So I think next for me is really kind of looking at what's next in the pipeline for next year, what projects are coming up, who needs support, who's got the good stuff out there and just needs a little bit of help to get there. And then I think doing more group work, a little bit more like, you know, people who are maybe interested but not ready to take that jump yet into affordable housing, doing some different, you know, group stuff with them.
I love this.
Yeah. Just it really, I mean, it feels like I've been on this journey forever and only for a day. Got it. You know, so it's still too early to be like, yes, this model, this business model, this idea that I have works, but early indications are things are going to work. So my hope is, you know, to start taking on an intern is one of my huge next steps. And then just really continuing to slowly see how I can expand operation if that's needed, or to continue to just the work level, the load that I have, that's what we're doing. Yeah. So it's just a lot of the grind work.
I love this.
And people can find me anywhere rumbling around Hummelstown, Pennsylvania. But other than that, I'm on Facebook. I'm a little too old for Instagram. I can handle one social media at a time.
Okay.
So it's either Facebook or it's LinkedIn. Sometimes I can do both of them, but not usually. But there I have a website, empowermentindaction.org.
There it is. It'll be in the description.
Yep. So I have the website and I just love to talk to anybody out there doing the work.
Absolutely.
Even if it's just, hey, I'm doing the work and I just need some advice. Like seriously, there are way too many gatekeepers and there are not enough people saying, hey, here's how you open that lock.
Right.
Like,
here's how you get in. Oh, that door was an issue here.
Yep. No, just take door. This one. That's because you're at the wrong door. Here, I got you. Let's walk together.
Yes, I love that, girl. All right, so I'm gonna try and do my key takeaways now. I'm gonna try and keep them to 4. That's how I've been doing them. My first key takeaway. It's something you said at the very beginning, and actually it was your mom. You said that like kind of have given this to you, and the idea was that we're human first, and so we are called. Because we're human, to look out for one another, to care for each other. And that is not something that should be associated with a check, a cause, a whatever. It's just you're human first. And so if you see someone that is hurting or you know someone that needs help, your response should just by nature to respond accordingly and help that person. That's my first key takeaway. And she said that's how her entire life has been developed. My second key takeaway, it may not be perfect, but it's beautiful. And so with that, there has been a lot of bumps in the road in her journey. She talked about different moments. She talked about when there was a point when she was already doing the work and when she got these opportunities and she had a plan for herself and she felt like she was being called to do something different and something wasn't within her, but she didn't know how it would be done. It was that moment where she realized, it may not be perfect, but it's beautiful. And just remind yourselves that whatever's in your heart, if you have something in it, you may not know all of the pieces and it's not perfect, but if it's in your heart and if it's something that is your purpose, it's beautiful, and to continue to push forward. So that's my second key takeaway. My third key takeaway is something that she got from her dad. And I thought it was important and imperative for us to remember for ourselves for whatever work we do. And that's the idea that as long as you have breath and as long as you are living, you should always be looking to push yourselves further, to allow yourselves to grow, to continue to do. It's not, it's a great thing to celebrate successes, but don't get caught in that one moment of whatever. For as long as you have breath, you should be living is a gift. To be alive is a gift, right? The present, that's why it's called that, the present. And so for as long as you're here, you should be looking to continue to grow, to do, and to push yourselves to whatever heights you can achieve, whatever that looks like for yourself. So I thought that was really, really beautiful. And then my final key takeaway, and it's what we talked about in the work that she's doing with empowerment in action, and with the work that honestly she's done with affordable housing and every development that she does. And it's the idea that we're stronger together. Okay. It's about collaboration. She's mentioned that word, and we throw words around at times because it sounds nice. It is what, the key things to kind of get things going. It's, the buzzword of today, collaborate with this and that. But true collaboration is the idea of finding individuals that are doing different works. Look specifically to your community. Find who's doing something that you need and learn to work with one another. Do not hold anything internally. Don't keep it to self. Let us be more collaborative. Let us continue to work in community. And if we work in community for the community and do what's necessary, and I'm just going to throw that out there too, that idea of like each one teach one, which she threw out there too, help build the next one in that is true collaboration. So let us continue to work in that and not gatekeep and not be in positions where we feel like we have to keep something, because if we don't, then we're no longer, valid, or, we lose our purpose. Like, no, if anything else, you're growing your purpose. And that's her goal in life, to help others see what they need to see and build it up. So I could keep going, but those are going to be like my top. And even in that, there was like takeaways within the takeaways. So as always, guys, your work is great. You're needed in this community. And I'm going to give you the respect, Dr. Amber, because again, I know we know each other personally, but you're needed.
Thank you.
You're a pillar in the community. The work that you're doing far outsees just what you are doing personally. Continue to live with humility, continue to push yourself forward. And I need you to just know that you genuinely are an amazing person. And I'm honored and humbled to be able to share space with you, and that you use this platform to finally come into the light, because people need to know the work that you're doing.
Absolutely. I'm
excited to see what comes next. I can't wait to champion everything else that you do.
So excited.
Guys, if you don't know, like I said, it's going to be in the description. Check out empowermentinaction.org. Look out for Dr. Amber Borelli if you're in the central Pennsylvania area and you're interested in community development projects and initiatives, affordable housing development, and anything of that sort. Look out for Dr. Amber Borelli. She genuinely is going to be possibly the missing piece that you are looking for whatever project you've got going on. So that's it, guys. Sending light, sending love. Bye.